student loan impacts are imminent after the U.S. Department of Education reclassified certain healthcare degrees as now non-professional. This change on the federal level will prevent student access to higher borrowing limits similar to those available to doctors and others.
So a couple of things here. One, we used to talk about how women were going to be impacted by getting professional degrees. So going from a nurse to a nurse practitioner, Henry Mason, CEO of Precious Hospice. And you're asking me, why does this matter? So when they did that, what it did was people who didn't essentially come from high net worth or well-off families or enough money to fund themselves to school now won't be able to get those government loans. This is super important when we're talking about, and she's referring to rural communities. Yes, rural communities will suffer. The entire country as a whole, in my opinion, will suffer. But here's the reason why. And this is why it's being done. Number one, it's being done because they want access to water rights and oil so that they can continue to dig. You're saying, Henry, how do you know this? Don't worry about it. Just trust me. Number two, how is this going to actually impact society? A lot of doctors' offices are now being ran. And when I say ran, people who are doing the actual work day to day are nurse practitioners. There's just not enough doctors, right? And there's not enough nurses. But at least with nurse practitioners, we can compensate for the lack of doctors that we have. That was a fantastic plan. And I think Georgia was one of the first or one of the people who really rolled that out saying, hey, if you're a nurse practitioner, you get a doctor to back you up, you can have your own practice. And I think too, the other part is not have your own, but you can work under a doctor's license. The other part is people who are seniors, right? A lot of these practices, particularly for geriatric patients, are people who go to your house or go to your assisted living facility and take care of you. A lot of doctors don't want to do that. They're sending nurse practitioners. So this is one, if you're asking me how did this happen, two things happen. I used to say, well, the doctors hate the nurse practitioners. I actually don't think that anymore. They'll tell you that they don't like the concept of them being able to be doctors. That is a fact. They will all agree to that. Most of them. But also there's this part where the land is very valuable with the water rights and the oils, any oil that's there or that they can at least drill for. A lot of money in that. So just be something to be aware of. And for my people who are in rural communities, what do? You will be forced to move. Let me be very clear about that because you won't be able to live in a place where your hospital has closed down. That's just need to wrap your head around that. Now, what is it that you do in the meantime, particularly for my seniors? This is where I fear the most. If you don't have access to quality healthcare, then your life expectancy will decrease significantly. And you need to be aware of that. And they know that. And so some of you will stick it out and kudos to you that believe that you can. But from my vantage point, I want you to understand that start looking for your nearest city that has assisted living facilities or memory care centers or places where you can go and actually be a part of a community and we can sustain your life or at least help you live longer. But that is the biggest thing for me when I look at it. I'm also saying to myself, well, goddamn, what are they going to do? They're going to force you to move. So just be aware of that. Look and see how that works and also be prepared if you need to sell, if you can sell early, whatever you have to do. Just understand what's coming. And again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out and let me know in the comments. Thanks.